let's get a lay of the land. We ended north, so albeit we're gonna start up in the north, right? Just hovering above that Kotovo Blocks industrial area as a lot of our teams start to filter on in. You can see some of our heavy hitting squads, the top players on the left-hand side. You can see that Vortex, Blade, Robstar. I don't really know what happened already, but it seems like we got hit, and we got hit hard.
Yeah, lost an early encounter, was able to grab a helicopter to get out of dodge really quickly, but you're right. A very frustrating drop for them as we take a look at, frankly, a team that is doing well. Second place on our leaderboard on the right-hand side. You can see that. Team Zach is the team we're looking for. This is a team that a lot of folks, again, they kind of put the caveat out. Hey, I put predictions out yesterday. I got 0 for 4, at least in the top 4 for the teams moving on to global finals. A lot of folks said, barring that, I think this Hollow squad makes it no questions asked. They were top seed going in. They barely missed out on global finals, and they are in second place right now. So far, EMEA is mostly going to script, at least on paper script, of our top seeded teams being near the top, but Valve is going to try to play spoiler to that as a last minute substitute team came in the last hour, literally before the tournament started. They didn't think they had a chance, but chance to make a name for themselves on main stage. Looking for the first option. How about one out in the open? Misses, not too much to write home about, and just brutal timing on the push and able to get a trade, but I don't think it's gonna be enough unless Trance can play spoiler. Yes, he can. Great flank by Trance. Unfortunately, just a hair too late to not lose both of his teammates.
Yeah, they're just gonna have to burn those gulags early on, which you'd like to hold on for at least a couple minutes here off the start. But in Lowtown, we're already getting mixy, and we're getting mixy early. You can see Monzo here on the screen looking for an angle straight onto Benno. But the thing is, yes, you can catch a couple plates, but all you're doing is making noise and allowing them to kind of work on their positioning. Be groovy, looking for that flank, trying to deny anyone that outer position. So Monzo just goes deeper, right? But if you extend too far out away from your team, this is going to probably result in a full send of the remaining duo unless Monzo can kind of get back closer to them.
Yeah, perfect breakdown. That's exactly what happened, right? It was a 2v3 because the third was 2 split apart, and it seems like Team 18 Physic on your screen right now, a sub for this squad, recognizing now they get the res off in time to play a little bit of some trades, but not a lot of health. Really not able to make a play actually inside the building, so Rancid has to make a wrap outside. Somehow doesn't get spotted. I don't know how that's the case. I guess a mortar providing a bit of covering sound. There's the spot. Monzo trying to play backup, and maybe we'll trade out Physic here, but it's going to be too little too late. Here comes the onslaught of the full team of 3, and he knows it. Monzo trying to get out of dodge. The sub for this squad trying to be an X factor, last alive for a squad, and it is a smoke and run all day, and I don't think Groovy and Physic are going to let that happen unless Monzo can isolate a breakdown. Bad timing, and well, Iota, a pixel, and everything in between, barely any help to write home about, but gets the plates back in, and now it's a true 1v1. Continuing to run, continuing to isolate these ones. Okay, Monzo, I see you.
I was about to say, this is a best case scenario for that opposing squad, but now Monzo just really makes it work and gets out with their life and an elimination to boot. Now this is a team's kind of fly back in. They can look for a regain over in this area. Now we do still have that relatively central zone that we are pulling towards, but from some of our squads that, you know, since we ended in the north, maybe they want to keep on fighting up in the north since they're so familiar with it. You have that Ghoul Diablo squad here in the warehouse alongside Abwiz and Master. Now, I'd be curious to see how we're going to set up angles. You can see the rooftop relatively blown out, and I'd be curious if Ghoul can take some cheeky angles onto Master.
As you can hear, their third flying back in. There's the support they need. Abwiz again on the run. This is where both of these teams have been landing. And frankly, this Diablo Ghoul squad, the Italian trio, has been coming out on top of this encounter, I think, every single time thus far. But Jama's right back into the mix as well. Likely not a ton of resources. Ghoul, can you isolate your ones? No, 1, 2, yes! Gets that whiz, are you kidding me? You can see a quick replay of Monzo slaying out as Infernal and Diablo try to do the same. A true trade here thus far, but Abwiz cut down. Just some rough timing by the duo indoors. Not able to really do much of it. There's Jama being a hero. Well, I'm gonna eat my words. Jama goes huge, and that's 4 for this team. They needed a big win on this fight as a third party comes in.
Hey, hey, we asked for him, get hyper aggressive early. If you have to drop a 0 or a 5-point game, that's totally fine, because then you can kind of clutch it up towards the end. But this is your chance, probably the last one in the series, to lay it all on the line. Zakar here doing a really nice job to pick that one up, and now we've got reinforcements coming back in on the opposing side, but we're still working on this utter breakdown of the rosters to pick up those elims.
Got to get the early eliminations, and right now Jama is doing a lot of that. Unfortunately, Jama is last alive for his team. It is a great swing by Zakar and Rocket. They know what it takes to make it to land via LCQ. Has got second last year with a different third, trying to do it again. And right now they come in third party, grab a couple eliminations, and then reset. I'm thinking, Tiff, looking at these new zones, I'm thinking we're headed to maybe South Military, and I don't know for sure yet. A little bit too early to call, but that's where my eyes are looking at. And right now there's only one team in that South Military position already, and that's Chow, way down at the bottom of the leaderboard, gonna have to make a move. And right now, all by his lonesome up in Mill.
Would be a good strong start for them, right? You start thinking of kind of where they've found themselves on the leaderboard, and this would be the game to improve on it. But that #1 seed, right? Aloe, Aydan, Zach, kind of still hung up in this pop-off power area, and you do have that Clapper Rocket roster rotating in, and sometimes you got to get a little bit ratty. You like the troll under the bridge, but don't expect to not get punished for it. Has to disengage out into the main and kind of use the hill line for cover. But when you've got streaks incoming, you've got the crossfire, and just not enough smokes to go around, you do what you can to run away.
Yeah, I didn't like the setup, frankly. You had one isolated under the bridge. There just wasn't a ton of cover there, so unless you grab the knock by that isolated player, you lose the gunfight, and that's exactly what happened. Didn't get the knock, had to back up, loses his life. Now it's a 3v2, getting chased. Aydan's got to get back into the mix. High value keyboard and mouse player looking to make a play in the gulag against Pink Turtle. More peas to go around. Unfortunately, those peas are headed to the lobby. Out of here. Squad 10 fully eliminated as Tomsterbomb wiped as well at the same time.
You can almost thank that squad there on the right-hand side. Visions for holding down the fort and giving some suppressive fire here. But Zach, Aydan, and Hollow, they just keep finding themselves broken apart from each other as they kind of work to come back and reconvene.
Golly.
And when you get this full swing, there's really not much you can do. For Aydan and Hollow, we're just going to have to reset on our own and stay away from that Visions roster.
Yeah, that's a great team play there, just to body stack and swing through the building, especially when your opponent is low and down in numbers. So nice win, but again regaining, again backing out. Again, second place right now, but the margins are so thin aside from the team at the top. They can breathe for a bit, 59.6 going into this one, but everybody else, I'm talking 4th all the way down to like 10th, is like a 5-point spread or less. It is a tiny margins right now. This game will really show us where this leaderboard will lie going into the end game, if you will, of the tourney, and how many points you need to really make it or break it. Saw some teams yesterday make it or break it in the final map with some raw slaying power, so it's never chalked. It's Warzone, baby. That's how it works around here. Never chalked. No matter where you are on the leaderboard, all you need is a massive banger map. And with 2x multiplier, certainly you could do it. But Team 27 again, restabilized, back with AB Wiz. Jama, decent little map going for them. Squad 27, they're on 5 kills currently, nearly entirely in the back of Jama. And right now, playing on the outside of Industrial, don't have a really anywhere that they should or shouldn't go. They're kind of wide out in the open right now. And they're going to make it a zone, but not a ton of teams really in the way. It looks like that Aydan squad is kind of restabilizing up towards pop-up that they'll likely run into again eventually. But right now, they're kind of free and clear, going to be hanging on, just chilling for a bit.
All right, well, where they've kind of situated themselves, I don't hate it. But now that we have that zone kind of centering up towards that military base area in the north, and yes, it does include a lot of Old Town and Low Town on the northern side. You called it, right? You want that zone to pull towards South Military Base. I also think that we've seen endings on that kind of water line towards the west of Military Base. We've also seen it kind of pull where that collapsing area in main of military is. Now, a lot of different options, but if I'm a team that's rotating out of pop-off power at this point, I would want that bridge control either in the north or kind of the one between pop-off and military base. And you can see that Team Zach is that #1 on the screen that could be looking to do that.
Yeah, it's a great breakdown. What we didn't see, I was calling out Chow there, South Military. That was Team 11 in the orange. Got pushed out, by the way, by Team 25. That's Crazy Snake. Getting a little mixy there in South Military. Watch out. That's green 25. We got to watch out for center of zone in South Military as we watch another breakdown from Team Marcus, fully eliminated. Back to the lobby you go. A nice take by Control Deck, looking to continue to make a name for themselves. This PD Quicker Control Deck squad could surprise some folks, but frankly, they need to do it now. They need a big game right now as they wrap. You can see it. That kind of, I don't know what color that is, but I was going to say periwinkle, and that's so wrong. It's not even close. Some sort of like coastal green in the 22 skating up to the right-hand side of our mini-map as Solitude lost the life of his team.
It's so wild because periwinkle used to be my favorite color, low-key.
That's very not green, by the way.
A good bluish
Seafoam.
purple. Yeah, sure, seafoam is kind of nice, but for now, Solitude living up to the name and just kind of staying alone, looking for angles there, and the squad getting mixy in power. Now, we saw that we were going to hit this rotation out of the pop-off power area, and this squad with Crystal Shots, Jumi, King Benji, has found themselves kind of to the far-ish east of pop-off. But when the opportunity arises and you want to extend kind of back into main, you want to find this last member of that squad, number 17, Infernal, just ahead of you. But how far is too far? And honestly, start worrying about that positioning in general. Going to be your key to success for end.
Yeah, and this is really where a lot of these teams are kind of holding for a moment, a small collective breath across the map as we wait for this new zone to show here in 9 seconds. This will really dictate what rotations need to happen right now. There's a lot of POIs still in the zone currently, but it's about to change quite dramatically. Will it go South Military Base? Will it head closer to Popov on Bridge? It does go South Military, maybe a hair more west. That bridge almost near dead center. Look at this map right now. Pretty much every single team needs to rotate to zone right now, besides like 3. It's a question of where do they go from here, and right now it is all water all day. This is going to be a wild final couple circles.
And all the teams that have found themselves kind of on that circle line all round, they are going to have one of the hardest next 2 minutes as all the teams from the outside start filtering towards that rotation. From the south, it's teams like FIFA, Lennon, and Juki's who had that really terrible rotate into that industrial area in match number 2. And that was just because some of the way these circle pulls have been happening. But for them, they have an actual redeploy zip that should allow them to kind of get situated perfectly. Now, granted, you've got to make sure that timing is perfect. Speaking of perfect timing, Blade, Robstar, Vortex, phenomenal match number 2. And they'd like to see some of the same rotation timings here in match number 3 to continue on that utter domination of this EMEA LCQ.
Yeah, again, team at the top, 67.6 points currently. That's a live leaderboard. Yeah, they have 9 kills right now. Almost a top fracking team. Just barely behind, actually, squad 23, which is Toyor. So watch out for that squad. Already on 10 eliminations right now, moving into the new. Now, hey, it's Aaron is going to be saying hey to the lobby, unfortunately, out of here. Team number 3 in the orange gone, but back to the top teams. Oh, both of them fighting each other. I knew they were close, but apparently they want this building. They want it bad. 2 of the top slaying teams today in this map at least. Rob in trouble. Rob goes down. Now it's Blade all by himself. World Series of Warzone winner. Can he do it here on main? Can he make it to the grand stage again? No. Toyor cuts them down. See you later. Our top team wiped. Sent back to lobby.
Have no fear. They've already made such a staple and a points disparity at that top 2 or really allow them a map to maybe not go to plan. But for Toyor, they're going to welcome all of those eliminations and keep on looking for the water rotates. We knew we'd see FIFA, Juki's, Lennon being able to just skirt by that number 1 seeded roster, Aydan, Zach. They're not going to let up on that firing, still looking to grab one of them. You can see we're bringing in that mobile buy station, but it'll probably get knocked out of the air early on, and Juki's unfortunately going down. A little bit of wall bang action. I'm assuming we have no smokes. We've already burned through our utility on that southern side, and you are meeting the ultimate firing squad on that island.
That is brutal. I'm glad we caught it because 2 things are unfortunate right now. We lose 2 from just onslaught of a firing range of bullets. It didn't even look like they had to reload. Maybe somebody's ripping some big old like Bruins from ground loot or something. I don't know what's going on over there for Aydan, but they did not stop firing for about 60 seconds. The second thing is they're getting sandwiched by that team 9 in the light pink as well. So FIFA in huge trouble. Likely quick buyback and likely restabilization as we head right back to the action here with Stu. Again, this team got second last map. They had a pretty solid map. They're looking to continue to to push their way up the leaderboard. When you see Boogs on the leaderboard, 3rd place, that's Bagel. Same person, same thing. Everybody calls them both. So Bagel, Boogs, all the same. This squad doing really well today. Apparently this sub in with Benzie is making all the difference.
Oh, quite interesting here when you can see that pip for the circle pool, right? And you got aydan on this island. Yes, they're gonna have to move. And you already thought we saw that water rotation out of FIFA, Lennon, and Jukies. Well, job's not done.
Yeah.
We gotta go over to the east. We gotta try again. Whether you go under the guise of the bridge, whether you go underneath, whatever it is, it has to happen because we are pulling off to that military base side, kind of like what you mentioned. It's a culmination of both of our predictions. And for squad 19, well, good luck. You've got one of the farthest rotations at hand.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great call. It is technically South Military, but it's also on that bridge. I mean, we were right in the middle of the 2 areas. I think Team 14 really would have liked it to be more closer to South Military. That's that Kibby squad with Jesus Jr. looking to continue to make waves on the leaderboard, and they have the South Military spot. They are on the very edge of zone, so they're likely safe, but the problem is they're actually fighting Crazy Snake right now. Team 25, Team 14 in trouble on South Military as we take a look at the far left-hand side of our zone. This is the Popov power side. They're having to rotate across the bridge. Several teams going across the bridge right now, including FIFA kill, by the way. So here's the look. FIFA under the bridge, control deck on top of the bridge. Who goes first? Or maybe you just bide your time and wait for the last possible second. But you can't go in the water because you're a sitting duck. You're not in the zone currently. You can't get to the top of the bridge. There's not really a way up here that is even kind of remotely safe. So right now you're kind of just sitting ducks as trolls under the bridge. And a vehicle could be the play. Okay.
Yes, FIFA. Yes. I said just send it. This is a good way to do it. Honestly, you've got that Team Boogs roster that are going to be on that opposing side or still working on Team Darzity in the north. Yes, you're going to make a lot of noise. So maybe FIFA was like, I sacrifice myself as tribute. I will cross. I will allow all that noise because Control Deck Quicker on the north are doing everything that they can to whittle down Team Boogs, and this is the distraction we needed. We've got the cover of the vehicle to allow for a little bit more play, and maybe we can rip some few more eliminations because you can see it on that overall standings. We are just skirting the line, 1 point away from 4th.
This is what I was talking about, Tim. It's a great breakdown. Because Control was taking shots down from above, everybody was looking up there. No one shot down beneath the bridge. The zone continues to get smaller and smaller, and it is just past the bridge and just outside of military, right in between both of our predictions. FIFA kill looking to clean up this Doom squad. These are great value kills here in the latter half of this game. We're moving into the 6th circle, but here comes Control. Says, wait, there's somebody underneath us. How about a couple thermites in the face, Control? Yeah, don't look down here. The trolls are here to play. Right down underneath the threshold in 5th place right now, according to our active leaderboard, but still a lot of work to do. They need the multipliers. We are quickly dwindling on our teams. I blinked and all of a sudden we're on 12. Jukies and FIFA have got to be screaming, we need placement, we need placement. Got to get top 10, and then you can make a move for top 5. Again, top 10 is the 1.6x multiplier. These are big, big moments, but aydan squad trying to play the greatest offense of all time to protect their spot on the leaderboard. They're looking to wipe every single team behind them and take this entire side of the zone to their advantage and to their prowess.
Honestly, Lennon and Jukies and them just need to send a thank you to this roster, right? They take down that squad just towards their left, and it just takes a little bit of pressure off of FIFA and Jukies. Now, I'm not sure if aydan and them are going to look for this. Oh, yeah, FIFA's already shooting. You just opened yourself up to potentially getting eliminated. Now, do we see them focus on hitting that rotation, or will they throw it for the eliminations at hand? It looks like they're going to go ahead and rotate in on that northern side because we do hit that next multiplier. We are into the top 10, and from now the only thing that can be better is going to be a 1.8, but Jukies and them, they're not gonna get it.
Golly. Now, Tiff, quick update, then we got to get back to the action. They did have 14 eliminations, and they got the 1.6x multiplier, so likely going to keep themselves in contention near the top 5, top 6 overall, but job's not done for the teams on your screen. This squad, they were 2nd place going into this map, all 3 alive with a solid zone positioning. I think this is theirs to lose, especially with that Jesus Jr. team in the Maroon 14 in trouble and in a fight. They got to get through StukX first, though. A couple trades back and forth, a true 2v2. We're going to go for the revs instead of make the play here. They have zone positioning. They're going to get pushed, but who goes first? It looks like Bagel has to self-revive in zone. They are weak. This aydan team is in the best position. They've got the rocks. Benzie has to be a hero and is currently. One falls. aydan, can he connect? There goes Bagel. Just clean these one up, gentlemen, but this is not going to be a free and clear win. They lose one, they lose two, and now aydan is all by himself. Benzie is playing spoiler off in the distance and finally gets cut down by teams deeper inside the circle. aydan, a massive game, makes top 5. I thought they could win it all, but the zone goes the opposite direction, Tiff, and look who's there. Squad 23, Toyor, still in this thing.
So is Team Kibbies. That kind of took that map number 1. So keep your eyes on them. But there were some really interesting moments in that fight, right? That Boogs roster was in 5th place, and FIFA and Kill and them are in 4th. So everything that they held on to do to break apart that number 1 seeded team could have given them enough to jump into the top 4. Now, granted, 1.8. Every elimination from here on out is going to be worth an astronomical amount. So Brandon Skull, stage, revolt. The time is now. You've got that circle pull in your favor. You're looking for the early wrap. Now we have to effectively take those angles, get up on this storage container, and just rip down Jesus Jr. aydan falls, though, and into the final 3.
A big moment for this trio. A brutal competition thus far, just barely eking round after round. That Mike Revolt team is a strong one on paper, just haven't been able to piece it all together. A 3v3v2, it's a great call, and now the zone, the final zone, starting to close, and it's going to close on that Mike Revolt roster. Who will get the better of who? And frankly, this always comes down to who fights first, Tiff. Who's going to play spoiler? Brandon getting pinched by Rafix. The Germans making waves. There comes Marcus. They are making the move. They've got a couple knobs. They swing around the corner. Brandon trying to break the play. Doesn't get it. 2 go down. Stage is the hero. Right now, it's a 3v2. However, 1 is just now flying in and low. And it's the Italians. Jesus Jr. trying to be one of the first teams to win multiple maps in the LCQs. The X Factor on main, looking to throw bullets down range and grab a knock, doesn't get it, but they now have zone. The tables have turned, and here comes the push. 3v2 Tiff. I don't know what's gonna happen, but Brandon goes huge. They hold off the onslaught. The Italians are cut down, and Mike Revolt, Brandon, Luciano, the sub coming in for this team, they grab a victory when they needed it most. A massive map here in map number 3 for the squad.
And this squad was outside the top 10, closer towards that 14th and 15th position prior to match number 3. Knowing how well these map wins, getting that 2x multiplier, it could really shoot them up the leaderboard. I believe it was around 31. So thinking of that nature, we need like a 27-point game at least out of this if they want to make a play for that top 4 goes. So it's likely not going to be on the backs of just one map win. You're going to have to throw it down for the final 2, but regardless, Revolt, Luciano, Skulls, that early rotate, that trap they set up for that breakdown of Jesus Jr. Honestly, I loved what they were trying to do, but the push at the exact same time didn't really set up those duos that were left to kind of help out one another, right? They just got broken down at the same time.
Yeah, no, it's such a good call, Tiff. I frankly got all over the place